I got to ask you an Eagles question. I know
Yes,
the Gun on One podcast is pretty much all Eagles all the time, I would imagine. What is the talk right now about the Eagles in the first round? Are they going to stay at 12? We're hearing some things that they might want to move back up a couple of slots and get ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. What do you say?
Well, as I tweeted last week, I was informed by several parties that if they stay at 12, and the operative word is if they stay at 12, they're looking at either a wide receiver or a DB, which is understandable. They don't have a legitimate number one receiver. They obviously need an infusion of young talent opposite Darius Slay, somebody that Slay can groom, because Slay's not going to be there forever. So somebody they can groom. I would hope they could get the next Jalen Ramsey, but those are few and far between. There's not many shutdown corners in the National Football League. Jalen Ramsey is a rarity. So, but then again, people are getting all hyped about wide receiver DB, but they could take a tackle. They could take a linebacker. They could take another edge rusher. I mean, this team is at rock bottom right now. They may even ask Barrett Brooks to come out of retirement, which would be funny. But that would be funny. But I'm just saying, this team is devoid of talent right now. I mean, I understand the youth movement. I get that. And, they've got, 11 picks this year, possibly 3 first-round draft picks next year. So this is a good time for this team to rebuild if they do it right. I look at what Mike Mayock did when he took over at Oakland, and you look at the talent he drafted. He had 3 first-round picks 1 year, 2 the second year, and you look at the young talent they drafted. I mean, they got some ballers on that team. Now, it hasn't translated into winning consistently yet, but they've got some good young talent. Howie Roseman's got to hit a home run. Well, with the number of these picks, and I'm not talking about just first round. I mean second, third, fifth round. If you look at the consistent teams across the National Football League, the Baltimores, even New England before Tom Brady left, Green Bay's, they find a lot of players between rounds. The Steelers, they find a lot of players between rounds 3 through 6 that turn out to be frontline / Pro Bowl type players. Right. The Eagles have to get to that point where they're consistently finding these diamonds in the rough.
Not just special teamers.
Exactly. You know, they got a whole team full of special teamers. I could play special teams over that. No, I'm not going to lie. I can't do that anymore. I don't have any hamstrings left. I can't do that.
Well, hey, D-Gun, I asked Jimmy Kempsey this also, but what are your feelings on Andy Waddle and, what his place, where would you place his powers for us in the organization on picking these players?
It's funny. We really don't know a lot about him except that he has a title. We know he's supposed to be this great talent evaluator. But if we are to believe what we read in the article last week in the Athletic, I had Zach Berman on Gun on One last week. Great article by him and Sheil Kapadia, Bo Wolf. If we're to believe a lot of what we read in that article, then obviously, Andy doesn't have a whole lot of say in terms of the final decision-making process. He's doing his job in terms of giving them a list of players that he feels would be best suited for this organization, and it appears that they seem to go in a different direction when push comes to shove on draft night. So I really, to be honest, I don't know what to make of his role in terms of how much emphasis he has in the selection of players, how much pull he has with Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. Basically, I'll go back to my initial statement, is that all I know is that he has a title with his organization and he's supposed to be this talent guru. But, if you look at the last few drafts, they really haven't been great. You had sporadic success here and there, but not a lot of consistency. But I don't know who you blame that on at this point.
Do you believe that the Eagles initially were trying to move up in the draft from 6 to get a quarterback and realized they wouldn't be able to get high enough, so then they trade back?
I don't think quarterback was their number one priority, even at 6. This is a team that needs skill position players in the worst way. If it's me, you drafted Jalen Hurts for a reason at number 2 last year. You have to justify picking that young man at number 2. You can't just leapfrog past him without giving him a legitimate shot. Okay, if for nothing else, for 1 year. So I never believed that quarterback was on the top of their priority list. I felt if they were trying to move up, it was to get the premier wide receiver or the premier cornerback coming out of this year's draft. And even at number 12, you're going to get a really good player. Cross your fingers if they don't mess this up. So no, I don't think a quarterback. Now, I do believe they're going to draft a quarterback at some point to develop another quarterback because they only have 2 in the fold right now, really.
Right.
So you have to get another body in there. But no, I don't think quarterback was at the top of their priority list, whether they moved up or not.
Well, you think they stay at 12? Oh, my fault, Harry.
That's all right.
Why are you always jumping on Harry? Harry has some good questions. Harry has some good questions. You need to let Harry talk every now and then. But I understand your name's at the top of the show. But
normally Eitan's talking. Right. He's off today.
I'd rather hear from Harry or Eitan. I talk enough to you. Plus, every time I talk to you, the hair on the back of my neck stands up because I know you're up to something. There's something he's up to.
Well,
and I only find out about it after I hear from my family. He don't come directly through me. So, so I got a bone to pick with him every time I talk to him.
It's great. Everybody loves it. The thing I was going to say is I don't know who the Eagles are going to take. They do have a lot of needs. They could, take 3 different position players and could use them all. But the one thing I don't want to see happen is I don't want to see the Dallas Cowboys get Pitts from Florida to add to that offensive arsenal. I mean, you can imagine him at tight end / wide receiver.
When I look at this kid, I think he has the potential to be another Travis Kelce type pass catcher. That hybrid, you can line up in a slot, line in close, he can block, he's going to be a mismatch for a lot of teams out there.
Tony Gonzalez-esque.
Yeah, there you go. Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce type. I at this stage, I don't think he's as physical as a George Kittle. George Kittle is like a Sherman tank.
Yeah.
Playing a kid. That guy hurts me just watching him on TV. Every time I see him steamroll people, I'm like, oh, something hurts on my body just watching it.
He's like a linebacker playing tight end, that guy.
And he plays like somebody stole his last dollar.
Yep.
That's the kind of tight end I want on my team.
Right.
But there's not many like that. No. But if you put this kid Pitts with CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, are you kidding me? And if Dak Prescott comes all the way back from that ankle injury,
I
know a lot of people say, well, Dak Prescott is not this, Dak Prescott is not that. But you know what? Dak Prescott wins. Okay. He's an efficient. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but he's an efficient quarterback. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes with the ball. And you look at his completion percentages and the yards he throws for, and you get this kid to go with what they already have in the house. That's the last thing I want to see is the Eagles get smoked twice by Dallas in one season.
Yeah.
And that's a possibility if they get this kid.
No question, man. Well, how long do you think they stay steadfast at 12? Do you think they stay there? Do you think they drop down? Do you think they go back up? What do you think right now?
Howie Roseman has that itch, where, he wants to make a move somehow. A move, if it's beneficial to the Birds, Howie will make that move. But see, I think in this case, if I was a betting man, I would say they're going to stay at 12 because you need impact players, and you need a player, especially at that 12th spot, that is going to be there, not just for his rookie contract, but for 6, 7, 8 years. You need somebody you're going to have longevity out of and durability, somebody who's going to be a mainstay at whatever position that you draft him at. You can't just be a turnover. You've gutted this team. You're getting rid of a lot of big money. You're getting rid of older players. Now, we see other teams go through this transformation periodically where you get younger to get better. So, and I've said this time and time again, and I believe I said it on you guys' show as well. If the Eagles are on a youth movement right now, which it appears they are, if this fan base can see that this team is progressing in terms of players developing and getting better, I think they can tolerate a 4-12. Oh, excuse me. Now 4-13. Now that they have that 17th game, if they went 4-13, 5-12, whatever the case may be, if they had more losses than wins, I think fans in this is as passionate and as critical as this fan base can be. I think they would be more tolerant and understanding if they saw young players developing, thinking, okay, we had to take another butt whipping in 2021. But when you look at the nucleus we already have in Folk, the holdover from last year, coupled with the young nucleus we've just brought in, 2022 looks promising. So I think the fan base will be a little bit more forgiving in that regard. Nobody likes losing, but we understand you've got to go through this process. And we also know, because we've seen from other organizations, you don't have to worry about 5-6 years down the road getting better. We've seen teams turn it around in a couple of years. So this team could do it also.
So that sounds like if you were going to get $50 of Barrett's money, you would go to Delaware Park Casino and take the under 7 wins for the Eagles.
Yes. Yes. But just to add insult to injury, I want $100 of Bears money. 50 is not enough to satisfy my palate.
See, that's terrible, man. That's terrible. See what I had to deal with?
Yeah.
I had to deal with this for five years. I dealt with Mr. Gunn. He made it known. Yes, I couldn't call him Derrick. I had to call him Mr. Gunn for like my first 3 years. I couldn't call him Derrick.
How do you just sit here and boldface lie like this, man? What are you telling people about me?
This guy, man.
That's not the Derrick Gunn I know, Barrett. I don't know.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sitting. You know, my desk was right over from his desk, and there were times that I couldn't even speak when I wanted to speak in that place, man, because he was just like cracking the whip all the time.
Rob Ellis said he's one of the best guys ever. So I don't know.
Thank you.
He ran that organization. He ran.
No, I did.
Comcast. He ran it with an iron fist.
I was just a pawn. I was a pawn. Obviously, you don't go to church because I don't know anybody who can just sit here and boldface lie like this.
Yeah,
But I did when I initially started working with Barrett. I did lay some ground rules. Look, man. Don't come in here with Christmas trees hanging out of your nose. Practice your trade. Don't just sit back thinking because you're an ex-football player that you can just get by and walk in. Do your homework.
He did do that. He did do that.
And I will say he did his homework. He's done his homework. He studied. We still have a little problem in terms of getting him from point A to point B on time. Yeah. There's work time and then there's Barrett's time. Which is kind of like bizarro world.
Right.
It's a little different than the norm.
I will say though, if we're going to talk something other than football, and Barrett knows it, he does homework beforehand, and he comes, ready to go.
I agree, and I'm so proud of him for that. Don't be like a lot of ex-athletes who think they can just walk in, sit down, and just talk about whatever they're going to talk about, because guess what? Eventually, you're going to get exposed.
Okay, well, look at this though. One time we the first time that we did the second time we did a satellite show where he was going to be in the stadium, and I was going to be live inside the studio.
Sure.
And we're sitting in there, and I went through the show. I did all my homework. I knew what I had to talk about.
No, you didn't.
I knew the show. No, I did know. Yeah, I did.
Because you sound like Sylvester and Tweety on that show. I was on the field crying, laughing.
Right, he's laughing I hear him laughing in my ear because everything from our place to where he was went out.
It went out.
And I'm just sitting there, and I knew the show. As long as the prompter was going, I'd have been good. I knew the show because the prompter leads you into the different topics. Well, the prompter didn't work. My producer wasn't talking to me, and I'm sitting there. So I'm sitting there trying. So I start breaking down cover 2. I'm talking for 12 minutes. I'm on, and they're not breaking or anything, and all I hear is D Gunn
laughing. That's awesome.
Harry. All I could hear was a bee. That's all.
Joey B has an idea for a show. He wants to see Derrick Gunn commentate and give Barrett a hard time while Barrett works on his cars and boats in his garage.
Oh, I do that for free. That's a great show.
He'll tell you about this though. He says, he said, "Hey man, I need you to come over and help me." I said, "What's up?" "I'm building this fence." He said, "I got most of it done anyways."
No, I see you go live.
Man. He came over. The fences were painted, so that's the only thing he did was paint the fences.
128 rails, I painted.
And we're talking about digging holes like 2 or 3 foot down.
Oh
man, it was the hardest thing ever. And you know what he paid me? 6 of us. Yeah, you know what he paid me? I thought he was gonna give me some cash money. He fed me instead.
He fed you.
He gave me some ribs. Now them ribs was off the chain. I ain't gonna lie.
I wish my wife was here to hear this lie. Because I told everybody. Well, see, when it came to my son and son-in-law, they didn't have a choice. They had to work, so they had to come out at work. And then my other son-in-law, who was my future son-in-law, and his dad said, "We can do it ourselves." I was getting prices to put this fence up. The cheapest price was $9,000 to put this fence up, and it's just wooden rail fences with the mesh wiring stuff. So then my now son-in-law said, "You know what?" And Barrett even told me, he said, "You know what? You should go price this stuff out at Home Depot or Lowe's because you can do it for a fraction of the cost." So I started pricing stuff and came out to like $3,300. So then my current son-in-law's father, now who are good friends, said, "You know what? We can do it ourselves." I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "All you got to do is feed us." So for 2 weekends, my wife and I, we grilled chicken, ribs. My wife made desserts. We were out there. I ain't gonna lie, morning to evening. I had on Spotify radio. My son-in-law's dad loves Motown. Man, we were out there Motown and digging holes and stuff. And hey, there was a lot of work. I wouldn't do that for a living. I have a lot of respect for people that did it for a living.
Yeah.
Not me, brother.
He's cracking the whip on me. You're not going fast enough, Brooks. Let's go.
That's right. You're standing out there working on your tan, talking to people, man. We're trying to get up rails, man. But who was the first one to sit down to the table? Harry. He's elbowing people out of the way, get to the table, Harry. I've never seen anything like this before. He's like a man possessed. I was like, oh, step back. I mean, this man's 6'5", 340.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. That fist was up.
But Harry, now that we're telling on you, ask Barrett to show you the video of him when he played in the NFL. When he gets the club from Reggie White.
Okay.
You gonna bring that up now, bro?
Yeah.
Harry, you remember Reggie White, man, he took one arm and he would lift people off the ground, right?
Right.
Now again, this is when this man's in his prime. So, he's like an out of shape 350 now. Back then he was 6'5", in shape 320. What, 320? What was your playing weight, Barrett?
325, 330.
325 in shape. So somehow, some way, we get this video of Barrett.
Let's know somehow, some way. You went out there and you just poked and prodded and looked this up and paid like $100,000 extra to make sure somebody brought this film up.
Look, man, I didn't have to pay anybody. It was given to me as a gift.
Wow.
Harry.
Is this on YouTube?
Yeah, it's got to be out there.
No, it's not, Harry.
It's not
Harry.
Yeah, I'm going to look for it.
You got to find this video, Harry.
Yeah.
Reggie White was 6'5", 285. Okay.
Right.
Barrett 6'5", 320. I saw this man lift Barrett up like Barrett levitated off the ground and threw him aside with one arm like he was about $120 soaking wet.
Sometimes
that was
you have ESPN moment, man. It was an ESPN moment. You just try not to have an ESPN moment with him, but I had my Larry Allen did too.
You got
Larry Allen.
Wow.
Did you find it, Harry? Did you find it?
No, I'm on a Reggie White.
Why are you in fact, you're supposed to be off. We only have 4 minutes left in this show. You're supposed to have been off. We have to go to a commercial break or something. We don't need to talk to you anymore, Derek.
We are up against it. We are.
I hate to do it to you, D-Gun.
No, you don't. Oh yeah, when the table's turned. Harry, seriously, find that video. Find that video.
I'm going to look for it. I'm looking for it right now.
We can't hear you.
Derek, he's breaking up. He's breaking up.
Your feet is frozen.
You want to kick me off the show? I'm domesticated now, man. My wife got me building shelves and desks. I'm painting stuff. I'm like, and she said, I'm the only one in the house working full time. And I'm like, what? What? Are you serious?
Trish flexing on you?
Yeah, she's been flexing on me for months.
But hold on, now she did buy you an 80-some-inch TV though.
Oh, bro, I got this 82-inch screen TV over the fireplace. I just sit there, tear coming down my eye. It's like,
so when am I invited? When am I invited to come over?
Harry, you can come over anytime you want, bro.
All right, yeah, I know how to get to Delaware.
There you go, bro.
Yeah.
Hold on, now I was supposed to watch the Final Four. Did I get an invite? No.
Oh yeah,
you did watch it. You watched it at home.
I was supposed to come to your house and watch it, man.
No, man. Yeah, hey, man. Cobra's running amok, man. You ain't coming to my house, man. I don't know what you have. I don't know how well you
he had it apparently.
Yeah, I did have it.
Yeah.
Well, first week of January, I did test positive, but I never had any symptoms from start to finish. Thank God. When you consider the horror stories of respiratory problems and stuff, thank God I didn't have anything. Right, and so but I did test positive early in January. But then again, if I know this guy here, he might still have it. So you got to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Harry.
He hangs out in some shady areas.
Yes.
You're breaking up.
Harry, I'm telling you, man.
You're freezing, Derek.
He was telling us about the Boom Boom Room in Pittsburgh.
The
place where Aaron Donald tried to break up that fight.
Oh, Barry, you in the Boom? I lived in Pittsburgh for 10 years. Never went there. Barry, you in the Boom Boom Room?
It was Phase. It was called Phase 1 back then.
Phase. Hey, we got 2 minutes left. You're supposed to be out of here, bro. Thanks a lot, Derek. I appreciate you, bro.
Gun on One
podcast.
Gun on One is the podcast. When are you gonna have Barrett on?
What?
You should have Barrett on.
I did have on there.
All right.
Yeah,
just because he couldn't find anybody else who was last minute. He called me like 5 minutes before.
Look here, man. You just gonna kick me off a show. I'm downstairs and I'm coming up. My wife says, "Did you marinate the chicken yet? For what?" She said, "You grilling chicken out today. Did you marinate the chicken and the beef flank for carne asada tacos?" I said, Can I do it after the show, please? Can I go upstairs?
A lot of tacos.
Tell I said hello, man. Tell everybody.
I ain't telling her. No, what you tell her? You got a number? What you tell her? You text her for every doggone thing else. And my daughter Annalisa, my son Josh, my son Jordan. Don't tell me to tell him anything. You tell him yourself. Wow. You backdoor me every chance you get.
Wow. Oh,
appreciate you, bro. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. We do have to go.
Okay, Harry, I thank you for asking me on this show.
Yeah.
B. Brooks, I love you like a stepbrother. Y'all have a blessed day, man.
There he is. Real D Gunn on Twitter and Gunn on One on Twitter, too. That's the podcast Twitter feed. It's been a blast, Barrett. 2 hours went by really fast.
Yeah, it did.
And hopefully Eitan be back tomorrow. And we might have Jason Martinez on tomorrow. I think Kyle Neubeck from the Philly Voice covers the Sixers is supposed to join us tomorrow. Sixers in Golden State tonight. And we'll be back on the phillyvoice.com/the middle.
The middle.
Did you hear that sound? Yeah, of that iron shot? If you want to talk about a solid golf shot, that's what it sounds like.
There are very few sounds of purity.
That's as pure as it gets.
Oh, I've never heard it before.
Yeah.
Look, you and me both, brother.
Never heard it before. Never.
You and me both at that point. Jeez.
The Middle with Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.